bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Yeah, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, May 24th. 143 days into the new year, just 222 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Yeah, man. Let's do this. Tonight, we have back with us very special guest, fan favorite, Jason Quitt is here. That's right, we've got Jason, fresh off of his big premiere at CITD. Just got off a plane up in Canada, and he's ready to go. Talked to him a few minutes ago. Man, what a great time we had with Jason at Contact in the Desert. And so we're going to go through all of that, the world, the life of Jason Quitt. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by open lines all night long. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Oh, yeah, Jason Quitt tonight. Follow us on Twitter. At J Church Radio, Facebook, YouTube, everything is Fade to Black, Jimmy Church Radio. You know what to do. I've got a fan. Can you? Yeah, you can hear that. Oh, that's a drag. I got the fan blowing on me so I can look like David Coverdale in a Whitesnake video. Just blowing on me. It's just, you know what? I'm going to leave it on. I don't care. It's hot in the bunker today. It's hot outside. Man, we had to go to Beverly Hills today. No big deal. I mean, what we did in Beverly Hills was we had to go and do something, and it happened to be in Beverly Hills. It sounds like it's all, stars and all that. No, but anyway, Beverly Hills, the freeway, driving, hot, stuck in traffic, just hot out there. It's summertime here in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, go follow, like, and subscribe. You can follow Jason Quitt at Jason_Quitt on Twitter. How many Twitter followers does Jason have? I'm just interested. I want to see what a rock star has these days. Let me see. Let me go back. How many? I mean, seriously, how's Jason doing on this? Let's see. Let me back up. I don't even see my tweets anymore. You guys have tweeted 8,000 tweets in the last 2 seconds. You guys got to slow down. I can't even get to mine. Okay, so you know what? I'll just go to my own Twitter page. That's what I have to do to see my tweets. Because you guys... Okay, here's Jason Quitt. Let me see. Jason just started his Twitter account. Everybody go and follow Jason. If you can hear my voice right now, I want Jason to have another 1,000 followers by the end of the show. All right? Okay, I'm going to tweet this out right now. Everybody follow Jason. Everybody follow Jason Quitt. Man, see, I type fast, huh? You like that? You like that? At Jason _ He's listening now, and he's just embarrassed. But you know what? I don't care, Jason. This is for you, brah. Everybody follow Jason Quitt. And there you go. Instant 1,000 followers. Boom. Just like that. Bam. Tweet. Done. There you go, Jason. All right. Let's go. I am excited about the show tonight. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Any questions or comments during the show, hashtag F2B on Twitter. We use TweetDeck. And hashtag F2BQ for Fade to Black questions. All right, everybody follow Jason. All right, I'm seeing this now. Everybody follow Jason. All right, I got some little bit of breaking news here. If you live in Arizona, if you live in Sedona, Arizona, that could be a song. I was standing on a corner in Sedona, Arizona. Hey, that could be a hit if you think about it. I should write that down. It's original. Standing on a corner when Sedona, Arizona. If you're going to be in Arizona, if you live in Sedona, check this out. The Cosmic Origins Conference is this weekend, May 26th through the 28th in Sedona, featuring Robert Schoch, Robert Bivol, William Henry, JJ and Desiree Hurtak, Clifford Mahudi, and others, hosted by Alan Steinfeld, no less. That's where I get my material from. And so there you go. And just go to this website. Here is the link. Let's get it up on Twitter. If you are in Sedona and you really want to just hang with the heavy-duty cats, this is what you want to do. It's www.worldviews with a Z, worldviewsmedia.com, seminars / Cosmic Origins, Cosmic-Origins, but you'll find it, and you can search it, certainly. You can go to Robert Schoch's homepage, too, as well, on Facebook, and everything is posted up there, okay? Thank you for that, Rita. She just tweeted it out. I'm going to retweet now. Go check it out, because now, yeah, you've got yourself some William Henry, right? You've got Bivol. I mean, the Hurtaks, Clifford Mahudi, right? Well, not only that, but they're going to have, thank you, Rita, they're going to do a rock art ranch one-day excursion with Robert Bivol, Robert Schoch, and William Henry, and Clifford Mahudi. I mean, how cool does that sound? And we got to work this weekend. But if we weren't working, we would be right there in Sedona at the Cosmic Origins Conference. The links are up there. I see everybody retweeting it. Thank you for that. Great weekend that we spent with everybody. Man, I guess we did. We had Schoch, Bivol, and the Hurtaks all on one panel with us this past weekend. And so there you go. So you almost get the whole panel, right, on an excursion, one-on-one. And I guarantee you, Robert Schoch will take your picture. I promise you that. And if you do go and you get your picture taken by Schoch, let us know. We'll get it posted. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Now, we have two different ways to do this. We have a membership area, which is not our podcast. The podcast, $2 a month. Separate from membership, separate from downloads. $2 a month to get the podcast and to get your apps, Apple, Android, all of that, all platforms. Just $2 a month. Go and sign up for that. It's cheap, but you help support the show. Also, we have our membership area where you can become a Fadernaut, where you have downloadable shows and archives with that are commercial free. Right? Well, except for the intro and my rant. But all the other commercials are removed. And all the audio is completely optimized. It's pretty smoking setup there. And you get the bunker cam. If you're looking at me now on the bunker cam, let me see. It doesn't even look like it's pointed at me. Let me move it over. Was I off center? Somebody tell me if I was off center. Because I was goofing around before the show with the bunker cam, showing everybody the bunker and flashing it around. Pretty cool. So there you go. Go to the membership area, sign up. You can go all the way to Game Changer, get yourself an autographed hat and a T-shirt, and there you go. Sign up for a full year. Okay? All right. Where are we? Don't forget about all of our sponsors. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. River Moon Coffee, Studio Dome speakers, all of their banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo codes for discounts and free shipping. They're right there in the banners. And we will be at the E-City Ranch for their July 4th Science and Spirit and World Transformation Conference. Tickets and info are over at ecity.org. I think we got banners up on the website. If we don't have them up yet, we will. But you can certainly go to ecity.org. And then, again, in August, we will be up during the eclipse up at Mount Shasta. Oh, man, I just can't believe this. With Corey Good, I will be the host for the event, and I'll be hanging out with everybody all weekend. But there's going to be a very special eclipse ceremony. All right? So just get ready for that. That's August 18th and 19th and 20th and 21st up at Mount Shasta. Okay, we'll get all of that as everything gets posted. With that, let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Bob Dylan is 76. When I was growing up, I didn't get Bob Dylan. I didn't get Bob Dylan. In fact, I thought he kind of sucked. And I just wouldn't listen. And I would say probably about 15 years ago, I heard a Dylan song, I just stopped and I listened to it. And I got it. Now, it was, 40 years too late. But I got it. And I do understand now Bob Dylan is a true gift. Today, he is 76 years old. Tommy Chong today is 79. Do you guys think Tommy Chong still smokes weed? Is there verification on that anywhere? Is there? Does Tommy Chong still smoke weed? All right. Rick just tweeted out, live show from Mount Shasta. No, we are not broadcasting live. But there is a treat. I'm speaking twice that weekend, but I will be participating in their radio show on Saturday night. Okay? All right, so there you go. So you're still going to get some radio on Saturday night out of yours truly. But Tommy Chong today is 79. Just wondering if he still smokes weed. Priscilla Presley, 72 today, and one of my favorite actors. And so many great movies. But John C. Reilly today is 52. And I always think of Magnolia first. But remember A Prairie Home Companion? Or what was that movie called? Maybe that's what it was called. He was great in that. He can actually sing. Our dead guy's birthday today is Heavy D. 1967 to 2011. Died at the age of 44. Of course, he was leader of Heavy D and the Boys. But he was known for singing the theme songs to In Living Color and Mad TV. He became an actor, appearing in such films as Step Up, Big Trouble, and The Cider House Rules. He died just 10 days after performing at the 2011 BET Hip Hop Awards, which was his first televised performance in 15 years. I'll never forget when that happened. Happy birthday, Heavy D. On this day in history, 1543. On May 24th, 1543, Polish astronomer Nicolaus Copernicus dies, right, in Poland. He was the father of modern astronomy. He was the first modern European scientist to propose that Earth and other planets revolve around the sun. Fact or fact? All right, I can't wait to whip this out on you. And tomorrow, you are cleared. You can repeat this fact or fact, and I know you will. All right? All right? More than half of all people claiming a PhD in the United States have a fake one. And that is a fact or fact. Man, that's painful for me to even just get that out. to have it exit my mouth, it hurt. More than half of all people in the United States claiming to have a PhD. Well, that PhD is fake. Tonight, we have a very special guest back with us. So excited about this. Jason Quitt is here, and he lit it up at Contact in the Desert, as we all knew he would. And I kind of feel like with Jason, and certainly Rita and the rest of you Fadernauts, we have a little connection with Jason, don't we? We do, right? And Jason was a speaker this past weekend at Contact in the Desert. He was hanging out with John DeSouza all weekend. I hope John is listening right now, because John, you know, I like John. I really, really like John. And he was great on the show with Jason on Friday night. And his booth was right next to ours in the main line right there with everybody else. And Jason just stood out. But anyway, John, 20 years in the FBI, it's hard to wash that off. He just looks fed, man. He looks like an agent. And I kept teasing him about it all weekend. And then I went up at one point. He probably doesn't remember this, but I went up to him and squeezed his arm. And I told Rita about this later. I said, hey, have you squeezed D'Souza's arm? That dude is buff, right? The teasing stopped after that. As a matter of fact, I was so freaked out about it. I went up to him later. I said, John, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. No more teasing. Are we cool? You and I, we're cool, right? D'Souza. Unbelievable weekend that the two of those guys had, and just made us proud. And so tonight, Jason Quitt is back with us. Maybe we can talk D'Souza into calling into the show. I know he's listening right now. We'll do that in just a bit. All right. And tomorrow night's another Fader night with John Rappaport. Open lines all night long. Very excited. We haven't had Rappaport now on the show for 2 straight weeks. I'm getting some John Rappaport withdrawal. I'm going to make it. Man. But there you go. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about a subject that was going around this past weekend over at Contact. And it's an important subject. And it kind of goes like this. Are we, us, this community, and myself personally, are we concerned about the negativity or the doubting or the skepticism of us, right? And that goes across the board. Ufology, abduction, contacts, secret space program, Antarctica, everything that we talk about, time travel, everything that we deal with every single day on the show. And there's some criticism out there. The criticism, well, okay, this is my answer. No, I don't care. I absolutely 100% don't care. And now let me explain. I mean, normally when you hear criticism or somebody's taking a crack at you or your friends or this circle, this community, ufology, and our knowledge and what we do, when somebody does that, just listen to me. I really need you to understand, for you to feel good. If you read something out there, if somebody, listen, it is getting bigger. It's getting huger. Us is getting bigger. I talked a little bit about this on the show on Friday night. I brought it up. The question came at me. I probably did a dozen interviews over the weekend, and with different, media outlets and stuff. And they kept coming back at me about this. And I told everybody the same thing. I got it like 3 times on Friday. David Wilcock brought it up when I was sitting in on his panel. And so it just kept coming at me. Listen, when we are hanging out with us, our friends. We're sitting at a table, and there's 20 of us there, and we're talking about these subjects. Everybody's going to agree, right? Because it's us. Now, let's say we go to a conference with 200 people in the room, a smaller conference. We go there. Everybody's going to agree. Everybody is with us. When you start busting this stuff out on bigger and bigger programs and selling more books and doing more media, and this show grows and other media outlets are listening to this, and of course there's History Channel and Discovery Channel and Travel Channel. Everybody's got shows about this now. So it's getting bigger. It's getting wider. The people that are listening to this stuff, it's getting bigger. Of course, you have Coast to Coast, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And those out there, because of shows like Ancient Aliens, which does everything from ancient alien theory, of course, but it touches on time travel and it touches on quantum things, and also it's modern history as well as ancient history. But then you have the other shows that are on history and travel and discovery and Nat Geo. Just keep on going. Well, those shows are reaching out to people that have never heard of the secret space program, have ever heard, believe it or not, of ancient alien theory. They don't care about Bigfoot. It doesn't involve their lives. But if they go and they see a show like that and they are exposed to it, like the movie Unacknowledged, that's out there playing right now for people that maybe have never even thought about UFOs or 0-point energy. They haven't thought about any of this, right? So when you do that and you grow the audience exponentially, just like hands over fists, it's a snowball rolling downhill. Now you are going to get the other side. And so we're going to have our core group, pick a number, 250,000 people, 300,000, 500,000 people that are into ufology. There's not that many people that are members of MUFON. MUFON is well known, but MUFON itself is actually quite small. If you think about how many actual MUFON members there are, MUFON investigators, and start to tally up those numbers, it's in the low thousands. It's not huge. So when you start to get out into pop culture and you're getting into the big area, now we're dealing with millions and millions of people that have never even thought about ufology or time travel, secret space program, Agenda 3. They haven't thought, or Agenda 21. They haven't thought about this. Right? Breakaway civilizations, disclosure. They haven't. So when that criticism starts to come in, it's only because the message is growing. And you're going to start to hit the law of averages, where you're going to get closer to 50-50. 50 agree, 50 disagree. 50 want a new tax program, 50% do, 50% don't. 50% want to get rid of Obamacare, 50% do. 50% are Republicans, 50% are Democrats. 50% like Ford, 50% like Chevy. Whatever. Everything just it just levels out, right? So when we go into our world, this huge UFO community, or people that are into the paranormal and the supernatural and anti-gravity devices and disclosure and contactees and abductees and the secret space program and Roswell, Betty and Barney Hill and Rendlesham. When you get that group of people all together, then that's going to get divided up. You're going to have half that agree on something. You're going to have half that don't, right? There are half that think there are bases on the moon and agree with that. Half that don't. Half that agree that the Apollo program was real. Half that don't. Half that believe in Bigfoot. Half that don't. It's that simple. So when you hear it, when you hear anything negative out there, it's just because we're getting bigger. Think about what I'm saying. All right. Okay? Are we on the same page here? Man, I'm just watching Twitter light up. 50% BS, 50% WTF. I'm not even sure what that means. But if that's what you believe, oh, that's Eric. Eric, that's even stranger coming from you. So Eric thinks that half of everything is BS and the other half he's stunned about. What does that mean? So, Eric, you believe in 100% of nothing? Is that what that means? Clarify. There you go. All right. Rita said today, I'm just going to share this with you. We are driving to Beverly Hills. We're going over the hill. And Rita starts laughing out of the blue. And I'm driving. I'm trying to get through traffic. I'm trying to concentrate. I'm trying to do my thing. And she starts laughing. I said, Rita, what's up? And she goes, I'm just happy. No more chrome green balls. I started laughing. And she goes, now it's the mark of Zorro. Yeah, pretty wild. But just to let everybody know that I realize that the world is happy that they don't have to hear green chrome balls on this show. All right, we're going to take a break. Get back here with Jason Quitt. But I want to show this to everybody. I showed this to you last night. Look at that. Is that cool? Let's take a close look at how badass that is. Are you guys with me? If you have the bunker cam, you can see it. This is from Stephen at Sedona, Oregon Vortex. His name is Stephen Swain. And you can get a hold of him very simply. Go to www.etsy.com/shop/Sedona, Oregon Vortex. There it is right there. I'll put this up in the bunker cam right there because he makes the very best stuff. And when you look at this, maybe you can get an idea about how good his stuff really is. I mean, you have Gabriel and this guy. Look at that. It's amazing. Absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for that, Stephen. I'm going to take a break because I want to get Jason Quitt in here as quick as I can. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with Jason Quitt.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B Blend for 15% off of your order today. Gobekli Tepe.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply, and of course the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA. The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. You know, next Wednesday, Rita, next Wednesday is episode number 666. and even though that show was booked, I don't even think we looked at the numbers. And this is about the 50th. Renee just emailed me right now during the break. And I knew it was coming up. I kept getting notifications about it. But we just booked the best weeks that we can and that are interesting. I didn't even think about episode 666. So wait till I let the guest know that he's going to be episode. Is this thing on? Poof, poof. I'm pounding my forehead on the microphone. Episode 666 next Wednesday night. Get ready. Oh, man. Tonight's Jason Quitt. Tomorrow night, Fader Night with John Rappaport in the No More Fake Newsroom live, followed by open lines all night long. But tonight, it is Jason Quitt. Very excited about this. He could be and should be and would be considered a lifelong experiencer who has interacted with multidimensional beings. Since an early age, Jason has been awakened to things that are outside the normal range of perception of just the physical world. He has many out-of-body experiences, has had encountered ghosts, aliens, and other dimensional beings. He has been taken out of body on time travel journeys and has remembered many of his past lives. Since then, Jason has been studying various modalities and spiritual practices with teachers from around the world, and he graduated from the Institute of Energy Wellness in 2005, began working with ancient healing techniques, and became a student of the Algonquin Shamanism. From his out-of-body experiences, Jason has received information on numerous energetic systems of healing and spiritual development. He's published these methods in his book, Egyptian Postures of Power, Ancient Qigong System, and the Yosef Codes, Sacred Geometry Mandalas of Meditation. Now, in 2015, Jason started to work on publishing his story and information with the late Bob Mitchell, great friend of the show. I miss Bob every day. The book, Forbidden Knowledge, Revelations of a Multidimensional Time Traveler, was released in March 2016. We immediately after that had Jason on the show, and since then, he's been one of our most requested guests and has become totally beloved by all of our fans here, all of the Fadernauts. And it almost instantly went to international, being translated into French, Spanish, German, Chinese, and even Japanese. Jason, also one of the guest personalities featured in the 2015 UFO documentary, The Resonance, and has also worked as the creative director for Tesla magazine from 2014 to 2015. His website, of course, is The Crystal Sun. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, our friend, Jason Quitt. Jason, my man.
What a weekend.
Is that yeah, man, what a weekend. And you get back to Canada and you're immediately back on this show. Have you decompressed? I mean,
I haven't unpacked my suitcase. I'm going to Boston tomorrow.
You know what? Rita and I do the same thing. We get back from conferences like that, and our suitcases hit the floor, and we don't unpack them. Not for a few days at least. It's just about the bed and binge watching something that we can fall asleep to for like 14 hours.
But you know what? It was my first time at Contact in the Desert, and it was Rita's fault.
Yes, I know. Go ahead. Just let it out, Jason.
I got an email from Rita. She said, Jason, I think you should come to Contact in the Desert. Actually, she didn't say Contact in the Desert. She said CITD. TD, yeah. And I just wrote back to her. I said, I don't want to sound ignorant, but what is that?
That's great. That's an amazing response, and I love the innocence of that, right? Because, for all of us, it's CITD, right? CITD. But you didn't know. Now, and not to dwell on Contact in the Desert for too long, because we could spend the next 3 hours talking about this past weekend because it was extraordinary. I mean, for you and for everybody else. But what an amazing, is that the gnarliest thing you could ever imagine? It is just grand. It's massive. It's well produced and well attended. And the vibe, it's not of this earth, is it? It's like otherworldly.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was my first time in the desert in America.
And now you've done other conferences out there, and we do other conferences all year long too. But conferences are hard to put together, and they're all fun to attend. But when you go to Contact in the Desert after being to other conferences, what did you think?
It was probably the best conference I've ever been to. I mean, the speakers were absolutely amazing. The attendees, I mean, it was almost like this huge family get-together. Like, it just felt so warm and inviting, and you get a real education there. It was just an incredible journey. Now,
what the reception for you was pretty cool. Now, I remember where you spoke at the sanctuary, and as you know, our booth is right at the entrance to the sanctuary. So I saw everybody going in. As you know, I was down the hill doing something else at that time. I was on another panel. But I came up as everybody was coming out, and you had a line. A line. It was like 100 people standing in line, waiting to talk to you. How does that make you feel? I mean, it just, I got to say, it must have been pretty cool, right?
I was, I wouldn't say competition, but it was, I think Corey and David Wilcock was doing a panel.
Right.
The same time in the amphitheater, and I'm a little worried because those are some big names there, right? So everybody would go to their thing, and the sanctuary I think holds about 500 people.
A little more than that, closer to 700, and they expanded the seats this year. Was it full?
It was totally full. There was people standing in the back.
Yeah, I heard it was standing room only. Well, you're pushing. When it gets to that, my friend, not to freak you out, but, you're looking at close to 1,000 people. So wow. Right on, man. That's rock and roll. That ain't the Boy Scouts. That's the real deal.
And at the end, a standing ovation, which I've never received before. So it was such an amazing experience for myself.
You deserve it. You deserve it. And, oh, by the way, you mentioned the Corey Good, David Wilcock panel. That's the panel I was on. I introduced those guys and then was asked to sit in on that panel. Otherwise, my friend, my slappy butt would have been right up that hill checking you out. And that's the only reason why I wasn't there was it was an emergency. I needed to sit in. Otherwise I would have been there. But I got to see the after effects. And I was sitting, I was like, is this for Jay? And I look over and you're just speaking to one person after another. I assumed you sold out of your books, right?
Yeah, they were kind of fighting for the last copies.
Yeah, man. You rock, Jason. And we're so proud of you. And like I said earlier, and I really mean this, that right after the book was released and we got you on the show immediately, we feel a lot connected to you. And so when I see something like that go down at a major conference like that with somebody that we've been with for so long, it's right on, man. One of our own. You know what I mean? Just go and do it, and just congratulations. It was really cool. All right, now. Yeah. Enough about you, Jason.
Okay.
How tall are you?
6'5".
I couldn't believe it. Man, you are one tall drink of water. I had no idea. And because we've only done this over, you've been a guest on the show's radio. And I couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, that's Jason right there standing next to somebody said you were there. So I see John D'Souza. Right? John's right there. I have no issues with that. There's John. I'm like, no, he's right there. You mean that guy? I was like, my goodness. Jason, look at you. So you're 6'5", and that's pretty trippy because you look young. You look there's an innocence side of you. But yet you've got this, you're a grown man and you're 6'5". Does that change things for you? Your perspective? I'm not kidding about this. Your perspective on the world. You're taller. You've got a view. You've got a world view. Does being that tall and connection with interdimensional and everything else, do you think that that might have something to do with it?
It could be because, the body is a sacred geometry oscillating resonator.
Bingo.
So maybe, the crystalline material of my bones structure would resonate in different frequency ranges that may tap me into different dimensions. Absolutely.
Yep. And I don't want to, there's people out there listening going, Jimmy, man's cracking a joke about his height. You have to think about that for a second. The body is full of minerals. It's electric. You're 6'5", and you're making these connections out there. Dude, you're just a tall radio tower, right? I'm being serious, too.
Well, I felt like a shrimp next to Brad Olson, I'll tell you that.
Oh, man. Well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would feel small next to Brad Olson, and that's the truth. But, yeah, I would think that would have something to do with it, and that's a very interesting take. Now, with your presentation at Contact, I want to visit that a little bit. It floored everybody, and for somebody like you to be a first-time speaker there, to get that much attention and to have the entire conference, walking around. Did you guys hear Jason Quitt? Were you guys up there for that? What was it that you presented? Did you do the time travel stuff? Were you talking about past lives? Did you go into Egypt? Were you doing sacred geometry? What was your presentation about?
Honestly, I put it all together. My past life memories, pre-birth, astral traveling, what I learned on the other side, the different dimensions that we can travel in, different visionary states, what beings are on those levels. And, what I learned, I would say, on my shamanic journey, because, I tell people that I've only been in, I'll call it the UFO industry for about just over a year.
Right.
I haven't really been here. I've been in the consciousness, shamanic healing world of energy medicine for about 10 years. So for me, it's like all this contact, all this dimensional travel. It's a shamanic journey. It's a healing process of awakening your consciousness to dimensions that are outside of our 3D reality. And I kind of framed it in that shamanic healing journey state. And I think doing it in that way really touched a lot of people in that room.
The mention of shamans invokes medicine. Have you done all of your journeys sans medicine, ayahuasca, DMT, peyote, and other medicines?
I love that question because for me, I did all those experiences without any medicines. And then I started to read Terence McKenna.
There you go. Right.
So it's like I had all these experiences, and then I read Terence McKenna. I'm thinking he's describing the things that I do naturally.
Right.
And then I did go to Peru, and I did do ayahuasca and San Pedro. For me, it was a very cleansing thing. I didn't leave my body or anything or visit with any beings, but I reached visionary states that was actually quite normal for me. So I think that these medicines really just tune our consciousness to create a chemistry in our body that can connect to these dimensions.
Was there, let's stay right here for a second. Now I've got 100 questions I'm going to try to get out. Was there a difference with San Pedro and ayahuasca and those journeys versus when you were doing that without?
Yes. I would say that the shamanic medicines or the plant medicines, they really ground you in your body. I know people say that it's an outer body experience or a visionary state, but when I'm in that condition with those medicines, I'm very much in tuned within my body. And I get to go inside my body to the inner realms, and I get to view the energies in my body that I carry. And there's a lot of stuff within me that I really needed to purify, really needed to cleanse out of me. And using those medicines, I could actually get those out of my body quite easily. I was in a visionary state. I would call it a shamanic state or a visionary state where I could look inside my body and almost feel the organs or feel the blood going through my vessels or feel the energy going in and out of my body. And then I could track what needs to be done. So for me, it's a very much a working medicine.
Right.
That I follow the medicine. The medicine's like a spirit. And the medicine can actually take me to places in my body that I may have been ignoring or not able to see before.
That's interesting. And what about the other side of it? Because you had your experiences pre-medicines, was it easier for you to understand and get into the journey faster? You know, it wasn't a new experience for you. You had the previous knowledge of that world. Was it easier for you to make the transition?
I will tell you this, that after I did ayahuasca, it really changed me in a way where if I even, let's say like a friend of mine is, smoking a joint, for example. I don't know if I could say that on air, but if someone's smoking near me and I just smell it, like I'm not even smoking, if I just smell it in the air, I have trouble holding myself in my body.
Wow.
Or even taking a sip of beer. I don't drink any alcohol whatsoever because if I drink alcohol, I start to feel like I'm losing connection to my body, like I'm going to leave.
Right. Yeah, if I see somebody eating a Big Mac, I go out of body too. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let me ask you. I just think that's hilarious. In that it doesn't take much for a trigger, right? It just, you only have to have the ability, and then if the trigger is there, bam. And I find that fascinating. I wanted to ask you really quick. Again, I'm not making light of this. I just want to know, when you go to Peru, and you're going down there for an ayahuasca ceremony. What do you do? I mean, do you pre-plan? Is there an ayahuascatour.com that you can sign into and take a tour? Or do you go down to Peru and just go into a bar and ask, hey, dude, man, I mean, what do you do? How do you put that together?
Well, I actually had a friend who goes down there quite a bit, and she's made friends with the local shaman community, and she's done her research so that when she invited me down, it was already set up in advance. Okay.
And how excited were you on that plane flight? I mean, right?
Peru was like a bucket list for me. It was
right.
It's like going to another world. And by the way, I was the tallest person in Peru.
Yeah,
there was nobody taller than me.
Yeah, man. But yeah, pretty exciting plane trip down. When you brought up San Pedro,
yes.
So I don't think you did that on the same trip, did you?
No, I did that actually a week after.
Well, okay, so the same trip, or was San Pedro back in the States?
Back in Canada, actually.
San Pedro in Canada, dude. The Mounties are going to be knocking at your door before the end of this broadcast tonight. What was the difference? I mean, is San Pedro legal?
I have no idea, to tell you the truth. It was just a synchronicity. I was talking to someone who is a pharmacist. This guy makes supplements for a living, and I'm just telling him about my trip to Peru, and he goes, "Oh, I got San Pedro in my car. Do you want some?"
Oh, no.
And I just said, I was going to do San Pedro in Peru.
Right.
And I felt bad that I didn't. So it was almost like this universal synchronicity that suddenly I get home and a week later someone's handing it to me.
So right. With the San Pedro, now you don't have a guide, or did you have a guide up in Canada to do the ceremony with you, or did you just do it by yourself?
Okay. You got me to tell a really embarrassing story right now. But I'm sure the Fair-Nauts will love it.
Let's go.
So the guy told me how to prepare it. I prepared it, and I drank it, and I'm laying in bed, and it's like 2 hours later, and I feel nothing. Nothing.
Right. The famous last words, right?
Right. And then my buddy calls me up. It's a beautiful summer day out, and my buddy calls me up, and he's like, let's go to the park, and we'll, throw a ball around. And I said, yeah, of course. I didn't tell him anything, by the way. I didn't tell him anything. And I get in my car and I drive.
Oh, no.
I drive to the park. I'm still perfectly fine.
Oh, no.
I get to the park. He starts throwing the ball. And right when I caught the ball, suddenly it was like fireworks started to happen in my eyes. And I don't know if you've ever been on San Pedro, but it's very similar to peyote, almost exactly the same. Basically, you're in that state for 8 hours straight. There's no coming down.
No. I'm laughing with you because I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's happening.
So,
what happened? Well, wait. I'm going to jump ahead. What happened to your car?
My friend drove it.
Yeah, good. Okay.
But at first, we went back to his place, and I think I played ping pong for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
What a terrible story for the public.
Oh, man. Oh, you know what? We've all got one or two. So just right there. You know what? 1,000 people right now that have done the spiritual side of what you're talking about just sat back and go, yep, I did that too. It's okay, man. It's quite all right. But now, were you able to, with San Pedro, to connect as well? Did you take the journey? Did you finally sit down and deal with self?
No, I wish I did, but like I said, the environment and the people you're with is the most important part of that journey.
That's right.
So I was like with someone who's very into sports. So basically, I just did sports really well for that time.
Yeah, ping pong for 4 hours.
Yeah.
What about, and now I'm just going to ask you quick before the break, what about DMT?
That's in the ayahuasca.
Yeah. I'm saying, did you? But just DMT itself. Have you done that? Just smoked just DMT?
No.
Okay.
I've only done the ayahuasca.
Okay. So now let's jump back to Terence McKenna. So you've read McKenna. You've now gone to Peru. You did that experience. Have you gone back and reviewed McKenna since?
Yes. And I think McKenna is like an absolute genius. Just the way he writes and expresses himself. And, he really opened my mind to a lot of very interesting information. And even Graham Hancock, I think his book was called Supernatural.
Yep.
Where he talks about the shamanic realm being connected to, let's say, these astral worlds or spirits or ancestors, or even the abduction scenario. And I would have to fully agree with that, because I was having that without drugs, without medicine. And then when I went and tried, after reading Terence McKenna, after I tried the stuff, it was exactly the same. So it wasn't like, a drug is making you trip. No, the medicine was actually just taking you to that place where you could naturally go with meditation and different type of breathing exercises.
Right. And with Terence, and I was with a group of people a couple of weeks ago, and his name came up. And this was a group of people that really looked up to him. And still hold him in the highest. But for me, Terence, I think, had two sides to him in two parts of his life. That first section when he had discovered ayahuasca and was making those travels and writing about it and expanding his mind and going into those worlds and making those connections and talking about the different creatures and beings and things that he had interfaced with and the information that he started to put. It was extraordinary. And to hear him speak about it, he speaks with such intelligence because he's such a smart guy. And then after that period, the last part of his life before he passed away, I just think that Terence liked to get high. I think he enjoyed the experience. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't go on a 2-month ayahuasca high, right? Tripling dose. And he was talking about that. Oh, yeah, man. Well, we went, and I was just like, dude. But maybe he just enjoyed it. And ultimately, it may have been his doing in. But I think that in the end, I think he just enjoyed the experience, where before he was more about the science of it and the creativity of it and how it was allowing him to pursue some of these other ideas, which were just absolutely extraordinary.
I would actually really agree with you on this because, I did ayahuasca once and I will never do it again.
Right. There you go. Let's take a break right here. Now you and I are really on the same page. Our guest tonight, Jason Quitt. This is Fade to Black. Multi-dimensional time traveler, past lives. How about an ancient Egypt discussion? We're going to do all of that when we come back with our guest, Jason Quitt. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Katie and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes. You
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Jason Quitt. Now, before the break, we were talking about San Pedro, the cactus. And you got to love the Fadernauts and Tweet Deck and what is going on here. And as it turns out, Jason, you're in the clear. San Pedro was totally legal in Canada. Okay? Yeah, you're free to get. Jason's like, really? That's right. That's why that guy just said I got in the trunk of my car. Yeah, man, I keep it with me wherever I go. But yeah, totally legal to grow, legal to buy. Wow. So there you go. Okay. All right, man. I feel a little safer now talking about it on the air, but it is legal. Jason, what I wanted to do really quick, as you know, we talk about ancient Egypt an awful lot on this show. It was a big subject this past week, and it's always a subject on this show. And a couple of conversations that I had once again privately this weekend out in Joshua Tree were centered around the Great Pyramid and the Giza Complex and timing and dating and so forth. You get 3, 4, 5 great researchers like that together, and you're going to get 5 different answers. So I want to kind of go back and visit that again and your experience there. But to get to that experience, I want you to share with the audience tonight. And by the way, D'Souza, if you're listening out there, you better call in at some point. We'd love to talk to you. Keep the party going. What led up to that experience, and how did you get there?
Led to the experience in Egypt?
Yes.
Well, actually, I wasn't into Egypt at all, and but I was very sick. So growing up, I always was. I always had problems. I had a problem called IBS, which is called irritable bowel syndrome. Mm-hmm. And whenever I ate any food it would just make me so sick. So I was basically, my whole life, I was basically afraid of food, of eating food. And I also had severe dyslexia. I couldn't read or write, and I had a terrible stutter. So I wasn't in a very good state. I was also about 100, at my lowest, I think I was about 140 to 150 pounds. And you saw me this weekend. You know, I'm a tall guy. I'm still skinny, but I'm 200 pounds right now.
Right. No, you're in shape. You look really good and really healthy.
Thank you. And but before, I was just a walking skeleton. So I wasn't doing well. And I went to see all these doctors and got all these tests, and they basically told me that I'm very healthy, which is, for me, a huge joke in my life. And the doctors would always tell me, don't worry, Jason, it's just stress. Whatever you're experiencing is just stress. I don't know how they can say that to me with a straight face, because I was a very relaxed guy. And so my answer wasn't with the medical establishment. And when I started to go outer body, the beings would tell me that I needed to heal myself. And since no one was helping me in the physical world, they started to help me in the spiritual world. And they actually would transport me back to Egypt at nighttime. And they would teach me these postures. And I would work with these postures when I would be physical in this world. And I was told that I had to practice them. And as I practiced them, it changed the old Jason. I mean, my stuttering went away. I could read books now and write. It's like something switched on in my brain where I can actually do these things. And my stomach became like a rock, like I could eat anything. So just doing these postures changed my life. And it was all by, I would call it past life time travel, where at nighttime I'd be transported back into a temple. And when you time travel, it's not like there's a date, like a calendar on the window where you say, oh, I'm in this date. It's just like you show up in a room and there's a person standing there that looks like what the statues of Egypt look like, just like a pharaoh standing there. And they're holding a posture. They don't say a word to me. There was never a conversation. They were just standing there, and I would be standing in front of them, and then I would copy whatever they do. And when I would copy this posture, it would feel like something opens up above my head. And the only way I could describe this feeling is a solar shower. It feels like a waterfall going through your body. So it's a very powerful waterfall feeling, but it's not water. It's almost like this solar light. It's the only way I could describe it. It's very warm and tingling. And this was the most powerful energy I've ever felt. So I knew that there was something really important about these postures, and I would come back into my physical body and document what I learned that journey, and then I would start to practice it. And I practiced it for many years, and then I was told that I should be teaching this to others now that I've gone through this initiation. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
And now I believe your experience with Egypt just happened once, or was there more than one visit?
Oh, there was more than one visit. In fact, I went on multiple journeys to Egypt, and a lot of them wasn't the postures. A lot of them was some type of initiations with a being by the name of Thoth.
Right.
And this being would take me at night, and it would just look like an old man to me. It just looked like an old man. He was bald. And I would just find myself with this person walking down corridors. And I had I had a couple really amazing experiences with this character. One is he took me to see this coffin, or this sarcophagus. And when I looked in the sarcophagus, it was like a man, but with a bull's head. And it wasn't like it was a mask. It was this person really did have a bull's head, and for some strange reason, he didn't have legs. And I still don't have an answer for this. But from the knees down, we're missing. And, Thoth started to pray or say these mantras. I can't really describe how he does this, but I'm standing there next to the sarcophagus, and he's taking all the jewelry off of Osiris in the sarcophagus. And as he's praying, he's putting this jewelry on my body. So that was a really intense initiation that I did with him. And then there was another initiation. He took me to this, it was almost like a storehouse, and they had all these scrolls. And we went into this place, and he found this cylinder that had a scroll in it, and he handed it to me, and he asked me to open it. So as I opened this scroll, it's like a cylinder. It's like this metal cylinder. And as I opened the top of the cylinder, a sound came out of it. And this sound, it sounded like a million people saying a mantra at the same time. It was such a powerful sound. And it reverberated through my entire body. And it's almost like I felt my body crack open. It's the only way I could describe it. Every cell in my body cracked open. And I woke up immediately from that journey in my bed, and I couldn't stop crying. It just opened something up inside of me. And what Thoth said to me was, that was an initiation that now I hold the codes and memory of Egypt in my energetic fields and DNA. So it was a very powerful journey that I went on with him.
Were you able to, Jason, take this information and plot it out and find out where your location was?
No. It's very strange. Usually when I go to these places, it's like you just kind of wake up in the place. And usually it's like a room.
Right.
Or usually it's like a building.
Right.
So for me to see like the details of, like a mountain range or the stars in the sky, never. It's just like you show up in a corridor or you're just in a room.
It seems like if you went and took this information to somebody like William Henry or Laird Scranton or Bivol, or Shock or Jaws, right? And you described not only the buildings, but just the environment. You're suggesting scrolls, which says to me library or something else that they have been looking for a long time. But my point being, if you share this experience with one of those guys, which I could certainly arrange for you, and we should have done it this weekend. That's your fault for not reminding me. But the information may resonate with them, and they could go, you know what? You were here, and you had this experience here. We never thought about the Hall of Records, right? The Library of Alexandria, which we thought went into the sea in an earthquake, may have been located here instead. But anyway, it would be interesting, and I think that you should share these experiences with somebody that knows Egypt like the back of their hand.
I did actually talk to Dr. Carmen Bolter.
Oh, you talked to Carmen about it, and
yeah. And we had a fascinating discussion together, and she was basically saying a lot of the stories I was telling her were bang on to the information that she's received too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she's certainly somebody to speak to, and I would suggest maybe somebody else too as well. That I'm sitting here listening, and there's enough detail there that somebody like William Henry, who any one of the guests on the show, certainly Carmen comes to mind too. But if you share this and just maybe somebody might be able to connect with it. Wouldn't that be fascinating?
Yes, and I actually learned something very recently. This was about a couple weeks ago, because every time I tell people I saw Osiris with a bull's head, everybody says to me, that's wrong. Osiris never had a bull's head.
That's right. I didn't want to say anything. This is you've shared this with me before, and I didn't want look. It's your experience, but what's even more interesting about your description is the legs. So let's go back to that for a second. You said it was below the knee. There was nothing, right? So it was a torso, right, with thighs. And a bull's head. Now, at the bottom of the leg, what was there? Was it just flesh? Just normal?
Yeah, it was just flesh and normal.
Wow, that's trippy.
Yeah, and it looked like the sarcophagus was actually cut to fit his no legs.
Oh, that was my other question. What was filling up the sarcophagus with the rest of? So you're saying it was short, it was stubby.
Yes.
Very interesting. What color was the bull's head?
It was almost like this, I would call it like a light chocolate brown.
Wow. Absolutely fascinating. Now, the jewelry that you were bequeathed, right? Do you remember what it looked like?
Oh, yeah. It was like, you ever see in Egypt it's almost like this very big necklace that has all these beads and gold on it.
Right.
It's like this big half a circle type of thing. With I think there was a lot of like blues and greens in it, and gold. I'm gonna have to try to remember exactly what it was, but there's pictures almost exactly like that. And that was put on me. And then also he had all these like golden bracelet things.
Right.
Those were put on me. But it was just the one necklace. It was a pretty big necklace.
Allison just posted, I'm sure you're with us on Twitter. She said, no legs means no escape.
Ouch.
Yeah, right? That's pretty fascinating. Now, your communication with Thoth, which I can only imagine was extraordinary. How did you do it? Was it telepathic? Or were you guys speaking English, or could you miraculously speak some kind of ancient Egyptian that nobody else speaks to this day?
It was absolutely telepathic.
Comfortable?
Yeah, but it's very strange because his voice, what it felt like was that it felt like his voice was going through the hallways where we were walking. So wherever we were, it sounded like his voice was bouncing off the walls, but I could feel it inside my body. Like I could feel them vibrating within me, like it was directly being channeled through me.
Did you see any temples under construction? How much above ground were you outside of these corridors?
I think I was underground, because the walls were all stone and it was lit by candles or firelight.
Did you see anybody building anything?
No, I didn't see anybody building anything.
I had a dream, and I don't do this much about Egypt. Oh, I dream about Egypt all the time, but I very rarely regress in my dreams. But I had this dream. It's probably because I was listening to something as I fell asleep. But nonetheless, I had this dream about these, I can't describe, they were like slave drivers, guys that were yelling and screaming. And I was down in this tunnel and I was carving, right? I was carving and I had some tools. So I'm helping everybody else carve this tunnel. And there was a bunch of us in there. There was a guy in front of me, a guy in back of me. But I was literally suffocating and dripping in sweat. I had sweat dripping into my eyes, dripping, and I was like, my hands, I couldn't hold the tools. And it was it was a claustrophobic, nutty, hot thing that eventually woke me up. But it was vivid and it was real. And I remember also, this was the other thing, because you said it was lit up with candles. The tunnel, it was gray. The walls were gray, but it was lit up like it was daytime. But I was deep in this tunnel, and there was somebody there further up towards the entrance, towards the light, that was like yelling and screaming. I'm not saying he had a whip, right, and was beating everybody, but he was yelling and screaming, and I was like on the verge of death, right? I was right there. So, again, I want to ask as many as I can about visions like that and what they saw when they saw workers and how they were doing it. It was very vivid, and I don't know if it was some past life thing or if this was something that was a part of, just fantasy, but it was pretty interesting to go through. It just felt vivid and real. You had mentioned to me before that you saw one of the pyramids under construction, but it wasn't Giza, was it? And there was a spaceship above it, right?
That was me?
Yeah, I think you said, I believe it was you, man. If it wasn't, I've now done one too many shows.
Okay. What
you were looking at?
I do have a memory from Atlantis.
No, okay. So then it wasn't you. I thought you were with Thoth above ground, and in the background there was a pyramid that was half under construction, and there was a huge ship above you that you didn't know if it was doing anything with the pyramid, but it was floating in the air, and you thought that they might have been connected.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, man.
Too many shows. But I want to go back to what you said about your memory.
Right.
That's very, very common for people to have a past life recollection of a traumatic memory. And I'll tell you, almost every single one of my past life memories is just before I die. So it's a very traumatic state that I'm in.
Right.
And I think because of the trauma that you've went through, let's say in the construction of a pyramid, that continues to be a traumatic memory that follows you along. And I think that when you go back and acknowledge that, yes, that was you and you probably died doing that, then that will start to heal and process through your system.
I just got an email from who it was. As you never know who's listening to this show, so I'm not going to say who it was, but yeah, now I do remember. Okay, all right, Jason, you're in the clear. I was sitting here going, man, I've lost my mind. The underground complex that you're referring to, it kind of sounds a little bit like some other stuff that is, south in Upper Egypt. Along the Nile, like maybe Abydos or some of those other large complexes as you head further south down the Nile. Did you have any communication about that, about its location, its proximity to the Nile, and its proximity to Giza?
Man, I'm not a good guest tonight because in these journeys, they never give me names or places.
Right.
It's only been I've only received names and places maybe a couple times in my entire life. And sometimes when I ask these beings, whoever they are, who are you or where are we going, they kind of give me a look like I should know this information already. It's very strange.
Well, yeah, and I totally get that. And maybe your next visit there, you'll be able to, connect some dots because you have some more knowledge about Egypt than you had back then. That's first and foremost. But I want to go back to those scrolls, Jason. Did you have any chance to look at one?
No, it was like a cylinder. How do I describe it? It's like a metal cylinder, and it's let me think about how many. I have a ruler right here. How much measure just try to gauge this. How big it was?
Maybe about a
foot.
foot.
About 7. It was probably about 7 inches in length, and probably about 1.5 inches to 2 inches width. And it was almost like it had this thing on the top where you can. It's not like a screw off. It just kind of came off the top. And when I opened it, there was nothing inside. It was hollow. But what was inside was this sound. It was like this sound came out of it.
Were there more than one?
Yeah, there were many in this shop. I call it a shop because that's what it looked like. It was kind of small. You walk into it, and it had on either side, there was all these shelvings. And some of the shelvings had scrolls, but they weren't rolled up. They were like paper. They were like pretty long, probably about 2.5, 3 feet long, and they were flat, like piled up on the shelves. And some of them were scrolled up, and then some of them were these cylinders.
What was their? We've got 1 minute. What was their purpose?
I think that place held ancient history, or prehistory, or information of the stars, or mystical information on how to travel to other worlds, how to travel to other dimensions, and I think that was part of the training process of the pharaohs.
We've got to get to back to where these are. We've got to find them, because if they were metal, Jason, look, check this out. You got to remember, this is before. I'm assuming before the Iron Age, before steel. Right? They were in the Bronze Age, Stone Age transition into the Bronze Age. So they were dealing with bronze and copper. If these were steel or made of something else that predated even that, that's spectacular. But
no, it would be like a brass or a bronze. It was just metallic.
But the point being that they're still around somewhere.
Very possible.
Yes, exactly. Man, we got to find out. That's unbelievable. Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Jason Quitt. When we come back, we're going to continue our discussion about Egypt. We're going to talk a little time travel, and I'm going to try to talk John D'Souza in joining the show. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
End time is not what you thought. In their new book, 122436, authors Mike and Cheryl Gilmore bring forth a startling new idea on the beginning of humankind, how life begins on Earth, and when our Creator concludes this age. In the book, 122436, 3 small groups of individuals, separated by thousands of miles, discover together the answers to the beginning of our universe and all the life it contains. Mike Gilmore is the author of 5 Levels of Power novels and the Sled Investigation series. Cheryl Gilmore is current state director in South Carolina for MUFON and brings a lifetime of experience with UFOs and related fields. As a team, their new book about life in the near future on Earth sets aside most people's religious and scientific beliefs. Available exclusively on Amazon in softback for $8.99 or the ebook price for only $2.99. Remember, Amazon softback $8.99, ebook only $2.99. 122436. Get your copy today.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. naturesyouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Our guest, Jason Quitt. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. And Jason, check this out. I just got a tweet from Tanner, and he says, Jimmy, thanks for not once talking about time travel during your time travel special. Ouch. We're just talking about him traveling back to ancient Egypt. How much further back in time can one go? Well, apparently a lot further, according to Tanner. I want to talk. Tanner's funny. I want to talk about the age of the pyramids. Did you get now that you've had these experiences and you're accumulating this knowledge? What have you? What's your call on that? What do you think? What's the age of the pyramids?
I think the pyramids were there even past 12,000 years ago. I think that there was a worldwide civilization. I think that the pyramids have been rebuilt over time. And I think that it was some type of global network to do something with gravity.
Now,
okay,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I really think that in the past there was some problems with the Earth. Maybe a comet hit, or there was some type of upheaval on the planet, and it caused chaos around the world. And the tectonic plates weren't stable. The atmosphere wasn't stable. And for the human race to survive, or whoever was here before to survive, there had to be some type of solution to correct those mistakes, to kind of balance out the planet. And I think the pyramids was one of these terraforming technologies.
I wanted to talk about the postures of power, the Egyptian postures of power. Mm-hmm. You were going through an illness at the time, and you were shown this. And were you healed completely? I mean, off medication and everything else?
Completely.
Okay, let's talk about the postures of power. And where is this book available?
It's available on my website, which is thecrystalsun.com.
Okay, that's simple. Okay, and the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's talk about the postures of power. When you were, let's talk about the first time you were shown this. What happened?
Well, the first time I was shown this, like I was telling before, I was just showed up in this temple, and there was a pharaoh-looking guy standing in front of me, standing in some posture, and I knew I just had to copy him. And when that happened, I felt that thing open up above my head and energy run through me, and I woke up in my bed after the experience in the exact posture I was in the journey. And I was still vibrating with the same energy going through my body, and I was awake. And then when I let go of the posture, the energy shut off. So right there, I knew that this was something very, very special, because I've never felt anything like that before. And, you know, just to go back to Qigong or postures, we all know that energy runs through our bodies. You know, we're energetic beings. Energy goes through us. So when we change our posture or when we change our geometry, what we're doing is we're saying we're going to change the flow of energy in our bodies.
Now, is this laying down, standing up, sitting? When we talk about posture, the first thing that comes to mind is how we stand. Describe that to us.
Yes, these postures are mainly a standing posture.
Okay.
You have your feet on the ground. Usually your left foot is forward. And the way I was taught is that your left foot is forward most of the time, because when you put your left foot forward, it's like an in and out breath. Your left foot connects you to the universe, and your right foot connects you to the physical body. So when you're walking, it's almost like you're cycling between those two energies. So when you're holding a posture with your left foot forward, you're expanding your awareness out into the universe, and the universal energy is now flowing into your body.
With Egyptian hieroglyphics, I know that they're positioned both ways for different reasons, but is the left foot usually forward and dominant?
Yes.
Interesting. And the traditional way of looking at that through academia, when we refer to this, why is the left foot forward?
They really don't know the exact reason. They said that the left foot forward was to honor Ra, or to connect to Ra, or to show your respect to Ra. It was something that, and you know what, I've asked many people, you know, tell me why they're standing in these postures, because there's tons. There's hundreds and hundreds of statues of them standing in various postures, and even artwork of them standing in postures. And I ask, you know, why are they standing like this? And the answer I always get is, we don't know, but we know that it has something to do with religion. So there really isn't an answer that explains why they're doing this.
Okay, let's stay with this posture. I've got a couple of more questions. I want to hear a little bit more. Okay, so with this posture, the left foot is forward, and what else can you tell us?
Well, there's multiple postures. The first posture is, you know, you're standing up straight, and your left foot is forward, and your hands are by your side and in a fist. So they're not open, they're in a fist. And then what you do is you slowly raise your arms in about a 90 degrees at the elbow, and you're standing like this. Just by standing like that, what you're doing is you're starting to ground your energies into the earth. You're starting to open up the energetic system, and you're starting to, I would say, balance and ground your energy so that you can prepare yourself for the next postures that are coming.
Man, I was coughing, and everybody on the bunker cam was just laughing. I forgot to hit the cough button. What would the difference be if your hands were not clenched?
It's just a polarity. And the postures uses both open hands and closed hands. So when your hands are closed, it's almost like you're closing the circuit, you're building energies within, and then when you open your hands, you're letting the energy go and transfer.
Right. I'm doing this in the studio, by the way, as we're talking about this. So left foot forward, arms down, fist, right, clenched.
Yeah, it's not a hard fist, it's a soft fist.
Okay.
And so your hands are down by your side, and then you just slowly lift your arms up so your elbows are at a 90-degree angle.
Right.
And then you just kind of hold it there, and still, what I like to do is I wait in this posture until I can feel the heat going into my hands or my stomach.
Right. Okay.
And then when I feel that, then I slowly move my left arm up to my shoulder and my right arm down to my side.
Right.
And then I just slowly switch and repeat that. So now I'm just taking my right arm up to my right shoulder and my left hand down, and I'm just slowly doing that.
Right.
And what this is doing is it's actually strengthening and building the energies of your polarities. We have 2 polarities in our body. And what we're doing is we're strengthening our polarities by doing this. Now, the beautiful thing about a posture is that when you stand in a specific posture or do a posture like you're doing, you're actually creating an energetic magnetic field around yourself. And the more you do it, the stronger that field becomes. So if you do postures in a certain order, you're building a very unique energy field around you. So this is like a very powerful science of energy. And if you continue to do that with your energy fields, what you're doing is you're taking control of your energy fields.
Right.
You're starting to put out different resonances. And I think that the reason I healed myself doing this is because our energetic fields are, they're a program. And we carry all these distortions in our energy fields that keep us in the same patterns of life.
Right.
And what we're doing is we're using the postures to recreate new energetic fields around us. And the stronger we make those fields, those other distortions just fall away.
Now, I'm literally on the bunker cam. They can see me. I've got my left foot forward, right? I'm doing the movements with the hands. And this is posture number 1. When
yes.
you said you woke up in this posture, were you standing when you woke up, or were you laying down doing this?
No, I was laying down, and I swear to you, my left foot was up in the air.
I that's funny. I believe you though. Yeah. It's an interesting thing to do. Kind of tripping a little bit with you, Jason.
I should have pulled you aside at contact and said, Jimmy, I'm going to teach you something.
Right. Well, no, I think I got it. I don't know if I'm ever going to have my right foot forward again. I've been backwards this whole time.
And it's very strange because when you start practicing these postures and putting the left foot forward, you get pain in your knees and your hips and pain throughout your whole body. Because the body is not used to standing with its left foot forward.
It's not. I'm backwards. I'm telling you, I feel backwards. But the arm movement with my, I'm holding my fist lightly. I'm not clenching, but I'm doing your vibe, and I know everybody's.
And that's just the first intro posture, and that there's 12 more after that, plus an additional 12. And then there's an entire other system called the Salute to the Moon, which is a little advanced. Have you seen the show The OA?
No.
Okay. Have you heard of the show?
Yes.
I'll just quickly tell you. Basically, in this show, this lady has outer body or near-death experiences, and as she goes to the other side, they teach her postures to heal herself and others.
Oh, the OA. Yeah, I've seen some of it. Yes.
And so they give her a set of postures for healing, and then they give her some more postures to add to that, which takes you out of this dimension.
Very interesting. What was posture number 2? While I'm standing here, give me one.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take the arms and put them back at the side.
Right.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring it up and cross it over your heart. So your hands are now over your heart crossed.
Which goes first?
It's actually, if you just close your eyes and pick your arms up, it should be natural.
Okay. All right.
And then you just hold this. This one is called the heart pulsar. And what it's doing is it's building energy around the heart chakra. And because our heart is really our universe. It's the center of us.
Left foot forward, right?
Left foot forward, yeah.
Right.
And as you're standing like this, you're building a polarity in the heart. And then what you do is then you open your palms. So your hands are now open on your heart.
Oh, they already were.
Okay. Well, then you can just now close them in a fist as well.
Oh.
So it's like building and then opening, building and then opening.
Right.
And just these two polarities start to strengthen and build the energies around the heart.
Man, you know what? This is what's really funny here, people. And I hope, look, I knew people were going to start posting pictures of me doing this. This left foot forward thing throws you off balance. It's hard to stand, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And people like lose their balance.
Yes.
And it's just because you're recalibrating your whole energetic system.
Dude, you're tripping me out right now. Right foot forward on my left leg, I could do this for 24 hours, right? I don't wiggle. I'm balanced. I can do it. Put your left foot forward and do this, you're backwards, right? You can tell. It feels completely unnatural. And you would think that it would be more natural if your right side is dominant, right? Because you're standing on your right leg. Your left foot is forward. You're not standing on. That's really a trippy experience.
Yes,
wow.
And
wow.
the thing with these postures in Qigong is that when you start to practice this, you become sensitive and aware of energy. So you can start to feel, let's say, like movements of energy going through your body or around your body. You can feel things starting to heat up or tingle, or you may even experience pain. And pain is just showing you, where there's something that's stuck that you need to work on. Yeah,
like my right leg right now is going, dude, uncle. I give. We don't have to do this anymore, Jimmy. It's really trippy. I've gone back to the left foot. Back, right foot forward, totally a natural position. You go to the opposite, and that's pretty weird, man. I would have never thought about that. Now, when I do the natural thing on my chest with my hands, no matter what, right hand's going first. If I go with my left hand first, now I'm really out of whack. It's just like I'm out of whack. It's totally unnatural.
Well, I have to tell you, when I started practicing this daily, all the postures, I felt my organs moving in my body.
Yeah, I felt more than that move, actually.
Like there would be this pop, and then suddenly I'd feel like an organ like move. And for me, it was just confirmation that this is really rewiring the energetic system and putting everything back into the place that it needs to be.
Wow, this is a trip. Okay, I'm going to sit back down. I'm wondering out there if who out there was doing this with us. It's like an exercise class. Here we go, man.
There are a lot of people on Twitter doing it. I'm watching them.
Oh, are they? Okay. Now, who's posting these pictures of me flashing my tattoos? We don't need that. God, that's nasty. Oh my gosh. I threw up a little bit in my mouth. Take that down, please. Somebody take that down. Doing this in the studio was pretty strange. That whole left foot forward thing is bizarre. Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear hokey pokey.
Well,
oh yeah, it's funny.
I did it because nobody else was helping me. So I didn't have anybody to turn to for help. And this is the information that was given to me. And you know what? I'm very thankful that I listened to these postures because it really opened me up more to the astral world and the outer body world and the energy world.
How long do you, with each one of these movements, like you just showed me two here.
Yeah.
How long for each one?
I teach maybe about 3 to 8 breaths each hold, but it really depends on the person. I'll teach it very fast to a person,
right?
Just so they could remember it,
right?
And then once they memorize the whole sequence, then I say, now you can do it as long as you want or as short as you want.
Right. It's tiring. because now you're not doing anything. You're just standing. But it is tiring because it's not a natural position. If you had your right foot out and you're standing on your left leg, the natural position, and you're going through these movements, it's nothing. But your muscles, especially and Jason, this is what's interesting with this. I've studied this a lot. When you are standing, you are using every muscle in your body, right? Everything is moving to keep you balanced. Your toes are moving, your back, your shoulders, your chest, your spine. Everything is in constant motion, flexing and letting go and tighten to keep your balance. Right? Standing it's tiring on your body, but if you're doing it on your right leg or your left leg and your right foot is forward, that's a natural position for you to stand in, and you can last forever because those muscles are used to flexing in that position for your entire life. Are you with me? They're done. They've worked out. You switch that position unnaturally. Now all the muscles in your body are working in the opposite direction, and they are not used to it at all.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with your energetic body. It's a muscle we've neglected, and we don't really know much about it.
Right.
So it's your whole life you're neglecting a part of you, and then suddenly you're starting to say, okay, I'm going to pull energy in from the universe, and I'm going to activate my energetic systems. There's a lot of pain associated with that.
Right. Yeah,
it's almost like you're teaching someone how to walk again.
That's fascinating. Yeah, you should have pulled me aside. I will say this. You ought to see Jason, everybody. He was talking about his health and when he's younger. Jason has nice posture today. I'm serious about this too. You brought that up, but you look great. You look healthy, and you're tall and you're in shape. You look great. How long did this transition take?
10 years.
10 years.
And I'll tell you, I feel like I still got 10 years ahead of me to get to where I really want to be.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maureen St. Germain, Maureen, we all love her. She just tweeted out, in any marching band or drill team, you lead with your left. Interesting.
And I know that like in Kung Fu and other martial arts, it's always the left.
Right. That's why I don't succeed in any of that stuff. I want to talk about for everybody. Get the book, and it's very simple. It's called The Egyptian Postures of Power and the Ancient Qigong System. So it's right there on his website, thecrystalsun.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Now, a lot of people today, when they see your name and they talk about you, they talk about time travel. And time travel has been discussed a lot in the last 12 months. You've been part of that firestorm, which we are not going to visit tonight at all. So if anybody thinks that's about to come up, it is not. But, Jason, there are many, many, many forms of time travel. Many different time travel theories. And when you discuss time travel, your experience with it, your version of time travel is what?
It's multidimensional time travel, which means my physical body is sleeping in bed, my astral body is leaving my body or is taken from my body, and then I am projected into either a parallel timeline, future timeline, past timeline, or even to other dimensions or other planets.
Is this a fair representation of time travel with an individual's expectations of the conversation?
Well, most people are familiar with time travel like a machine.
Right.
You grab onto a machine or you step through a machine and you choose the date and time. That has never happened to me, and I've yet to meet somebody who's a true time traveler that can prove to me that they've done this. But for me, it's always been out of body, and it's the same thing with abduction scenarios for me. As in, I can feel a presence walking into my room, but I can't see them with my physical eyes. I can feel them because I'm very sensitive with energy. I could feel them walking into the environment. And then if I leave my body, suddenly it's clear as day. I can see them standing right there. So for me, time travel or entities have always been outside of the third dimension. So it's like once you're in the third dimension, you're bound by this time and space. But once you exit the third dimension and enter the astral state or fourth dimension, suddenly there is no time and space, and you can jump all over the place.
Right. I just fixed the bunker cam, everybody. I was astral projecting myself, and I just didn't get up. Okay, so now I'm back down. We're all good. That part of time travel, is it an honest version? In other words, are you traveling in time, or is this part of you're tapping into the electric universe and you're seeing what has been recorded and not necessarily traveling back or forward in time on a timeline?
It's very much possible that everything has been recorded, the future and the past, and that we actually project our consciousness into various time periods,
right,
through incarnation, to, I would say, alter the flow of the destiny of time. So it's almost like everything exists as one at one time, and our consciousness is kind of, I would say, planted in different time and space dimensions. And we can actually jump between these time-space dimensions, figure out, is this the path that we want to take? Is this the experience we want to learn? And if it's not, then we could change it, and then we evolve all of time together.
We're going to take a break right here, Jason. We're going to continue this conversation when we come back. Absolutely fascinating. Jason Quitt, interdimensional time traveler. We're going to continue this because I have some more questions, and you know where I'm going to go, because this is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. More with Jason right after this.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
My name's Doug Salamone, and I have a new show for you that will blow your mind. So what kind of show is it? It's a podcast, and it's called In the News. And you can find us at inthenewspodcast.com. We talk about what's new, what's crazy, what's out of this world, and we'll dissect those thoughts, ideas, and events right here on the show. And hear all the news you may have missed or really don't give a crap about, but want to hear anyways. So come on over and meet me at inthenewspodcast.com. That's inthenewspodcast.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. You can follow Jason Quitt at Jason_Quitt. Simple enough. That's Quitt with 2 T's. You know, Jason, you could have had 1 T and you would have been different from all the other Quits. Or did you add the second T to separate you from the other Quits?
That's a good question. I actually don't know how the family got that name, but I think it was changed from something else when we came over to North America.
Yeah, maybe it was Continue.
Something.
Right.
But it is a very unique name, and, you know, I was thinking of changing it before I went public with my information.
Right. No, never do that.
But then I thought, you know what? It's such a unique name, people will remember it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were growing up, I mean, with a last name like Quitt, trust me, I had a last name Church. You know, I got it from everybody growing up. How about you? Was Quitt, I mean, did you just hate it, or were you cool with it?
My nickname was Quitt.
Yeah, right. Kids are
my
cruel.
My whole life, I was never called Jason. I was called Hey Quitt.
Oh, man. Yeah, me too. I was never called Jimmy. I was called Church, right? And it bothered me. I called all of my friends, hey, Bill, hey, John, hey, Alan, right? I never called anybody, but I was Church, and or worse than that. But, yeah, there you go. But I dig the name. Jason Quitt is cool. I'm really glad you didn't change it. Back to time travel. All right, so we have these different takes on it, but with yours, which I really, really enjoy, do you think there will be a technology someday when we can go back and capture the past and visit it electronically and you know, and record those events, or record the events from the future, capture them, and then view them here for everyone? I mean, because it's out there, right? It occurred. It happened.
Yeah, and I think people have been talking about that for quite a long time, and I think that's the whole concept of that time viewing machine that the Vatican has.
Right.
The chronograph.
Yeah, the chronovisor.
Chronovisor, that's it. But basically, it's almost like a radio where you're tuning into this electric signature of time itself, and once you get that tuning, then you can actually interpret what you're seeing.
Well, there's the other side, which is tapping into you, what you're seeing, where you are, and recording that, right? And if there was a way to build that interface between you know, you put on your little helmet, right, with the wires coming off of it, and hit a computer interface, you have the experience, and we're able to record it and see what you are seeing.
That definitely could be a potential future. I don't know how far technology has gotten, but we are electrical in nature, and we are like a tuning fork or a radio antenna. So why wouldn't we be able to pick that stuff up and translate it?
DARPA is going to be calling you very soon, if you think about this. They're listening right now, and they're like, Church is right. He's on to something here. But think about that, Jason. But then we have this other difficulty. You could potentially be sitting in a DARPA lab for 2 or 3 years and not have the experience, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the experience is a deeply personal thing, and you can't time it. It's not like I'll sit down and meditate and say, I would like to go back to Egypt, please.
Right. And call your guides, and they just show up, and you tell them, you want to go back and see JFK get shot. It doesn't work that way, does it?
No, it happens when you least expect it. Like I remember, and I'll just share this story quickly. I remember that I was like really good. I was doing meditation, Qigong every single day. I was doing my intentions, and nothing happened to me. Nothing happened for months and months and months, and I just continued to do my meditations. And one night, it was a friend's birthday party, and they said, come out and have a few drinks with us. And I said, you know what? Nothing's happening to me. Yeah, I'm coming. And I went out for drinks. It was a late night. I get home, plop on the bed and go to sleep. And then suddenly there's somebody in my room trying to talk to me. Like there's a being there just wanting to give me information. And I just turn over. I said, I've been meditating and so good these past months, but why are you showing up here when I'm like drunk and I just want to go to sleep? And the answer I got is, we come on our time, not your time.
What's interesting here with that? Oh, by the way, I'm tweeting this out now. Who is Everyone C? On Twitter? Okay. You don't. You're appearing at the Alien Cosmic Expo, Toronto, June 23rd through the 25th?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to tweet this out for you, my friend. It just popped up. I wanted to make sure that this is really you, or that you're really appearing. Okay. All right. For all of our good friends in the Great White North, there you go. June 23rd through 25th, Stephen Greer, Stanton Friedman, Paul Hellyer. Who else is going to be there, Jason?
Okay. I have to go look.
It doesn't matter. I just retweeted it, and everybody can go and check that out. Now, back to this experience. When was the last time you traveled?
Okay, let me think about that for a second.
You've been on the show. I'm trying to think the last time you were on. It's probably 6 months ago. Have you done it in the last 6 months?
I've left my body in the past 6 months. I haven't traveled through time, though, if that's what you're asking.
Right. Okay, when was the last time you traveled through time?
I would say, and I think I said this on your show, I went to the year 2700.
Right.
And this was, and that would be like a true time travel thing, like what we're talking about. I have a lot of time travel, which is past life, but I don't think people like to hear about those things.
You think they want? Yeah, I understand that. That's also more personal too, as well. Going to the future and seeing the future is pretty trippy for anyone.
Yes, and the way that it happens, which is very strange, is that like you'll be taken out of your body and you'll be transported there. There's a couple ways they transport you. One is, you go into outer space and then you go back to the Earth, and it's a different time period. And the other is through different portals. So it's like you'll just go through a portal and suddenly you're flying in the air. It's obviously your astral body that's doing this journey. And for me, there's always this being, it's like holding my shoulder behind me. So it's like behind me and traveling through me, and we're connected through telepathy. So as I'm traveling with this being, I could ask questions like, where are we going? They can say, oh, we're traveling to Pegasus, or what time period is this? And that's when they told me 2700. And basically what they were showing me in 2700 was that there was this society that was fully integrated with this AI intelligence.
Right.
And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. When I was there, I was looking, and it just looked like, you ever see the movie Equilibrium?
Oh, yes.
It kind of looked like that. They were all wearing like the same clothes. Everything was nice and clean. But the buildings were very futuristic. They're almost like just all like type of glass, shimmering like white. Very clean looking society. And the thing that I was shown there is that there was like an interface between the people and the buildings. So that like when you would walk into a building, for example, you could have a conversation with the building in your mind, and you could have a conversation with anybody else that's there with you or somewhere else on the planet, and it was all in your mind. But it was done through this type of AI interface. And the thing that really freaked me out, and I talked about it last time on the show, is that they were kind of trying to give me a historical context of what had happened here.
Right.
And they were trying to show me that there was like a battle over Earth and the population of the Earth. And it was between two alien groups. They showed me one of the group that was fighting, and I told you before, it looked like ant people. Their skin was very much like almost like an elephant, but more like maroonish. And it for some reason it would show me these ant people with these step pyramids. And the step pyramids looked very ancient when they showed them to me. So my guess was that we would know these ant people from these step pyramids. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's what was shown to me. And they didn't show me the other alien group that was fighting. But somebody won. And now the human population was very technologically advanced, and they were all integrated as this, almost like this Borg one mind society. And when I came back from that vision or that journey, I was actually thinking, wow, that's so cool, like, to have that kind of connection. And then I started to feel this queasiness in my stomach. Like I almost felt sick after that. And then I started to contemplate it, and I think that's really awful if that is the future.
Well, and what's interesting for me is that the telepathic or the communication or instructions or the want, the desire to do something or turn something on or enter a door and so forth, was done with the mind, but it wasn't an exercise of the mind or true telepathy. It wasn't biological. You're suggesting that this was a pure technology-driven phenomenon.
Exactly, pure technology. No spiritual development.
Was it because everybody had implants? Was there something implanted on everybody that allowed this communication?
I think it was some type of... the only way I can think about it is some type of neural pathway takeover. And it had to have been wireless, where basically you're in the field of that AI consciousness. So you're tapped in just standing on the Earth, just like how we're tapped into the Earth's magnetic field now, and we can talk to our ancestors through that.
Right.
Or nature spirits. It's exactly that type of technology, but done with other intelligence.
And but again, if there was some kind of interface there, it seems like, man, we're inventing stuff all over this show tonight, Jason. Well done. Man, we need to patent some of this technology. I'm thinking that maybe there was an implant somewhere, and your brain is, is connecting into those brain waves, and then the communication is happening, which is fantastic technology if they could pull that off.
That's just what I assume from what I experienced, that it would be purely technological.
Now, in this not vision of the future, this visit to the future, it's interesting how they shared that with you. This is 2700. Oh, by the way, was it 2700, 2701, 2699, 2735, or was it literally 2700?
I think they just said 2700.
Okay.
It could be a vague term of, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah, they rounded it off for you. What about trees? Could you see the sky? Was the sky still blue? What was it like outside?
Yeah, the sky was still blue, and when they showed me those pyramids, there were trees and there was long grass. And some of these pyramids, it looked like they were overtaken by this grass.
And the pyramids, were they smooth?
No. It almost looked like they were very eroded.
Oh.
Very eroded, like old, and they were stepped.
Now, wait a minute here. Okay, now we're on to something. We're back to almost the beginning of the show. What did they look like? See, because this could indicate what part of the world you were in.
I'm just going to draw it in front of me so I can just get a visual here.
Yeah, I mean, a step pyramid like Dozer, like Egypt, or step pyramid like Mexican, step pyramid like Mayan?
It looked like a cake. One layer on top of another layer, and each one was progressively smaller, and it was square.
Okay, so draw it, take a picture of it, post it on Twitter. Let's see how good Jason Quitt really is. He's
you can tell me?
He's a social media guru.
All right, let's see if I can do this.
Now, and as you're doing that, you can talk and chew gum.
Yeah, of course.
The buildings, do you think that part of this may have been your imagination? What makes you think that it was actually the future? And what about television? Pictures on the wall, flat screens. Did you see the news? Any reports on the weather? Were there any talking heads? How did they communicate? Were there cell phones? Was there anything like that? Any handheld communication devices? Did they have watches on? Did you smell any perfume? Were they wearing makeup? Okay, answer all of those.
You got it. The answer to all of those is basically no to all of that stuff. In this journey, I wasn't there very long at all. I'm just building this.
That's fine. So, no perfume, no makeup?
No, I didn't see that at all.
And it sounds like everybody was the same. Was there anybody overweight? Was there anybody really skinny, or was everybody really healthy?
Honestly, when I saw them, it didn't even dawn on me, but they were just all basically the same.
Right. Interesting. So they figured that out. They figured out the perfect diet. Attractive? Was everybody attractive?
Not in the sense that I would. No, they weren't attractive.
Oh, really? So you didn't sleep with any aliens when you were there?
You know what? It's great because I've done conferences where people have literally asked me to describe any aliens that have slept with you.
Right. I know, right? Why does everybody want to know that? Over the weekend, we were, I'm not going to say who, what, when, and where, but there was a lot of alien sex talk. I was like, man, everybody is in a good mood. They just want to talk about alien sex. And so, which I know nothing about. But back to this. Was there anybody with a disability? Did you see a wheelchair? Did you see anybody, or again, did they start to perfect some genetics? Do you think there was some altering of DNA in the genome?
Yeah, I really think that they created some type of human. It could, and by the way, we're just speculating here.
Of course.
Because I have no idea what the true answer to this is, but if I would speculate from my experience, I would say that it did look human, but not the humans we would recognize here, living here. There's too much variety right now. It looked like it was very streamlined over there.
And did you see any artwork?
None.
Billboards?
None. Nothing.
Movie posters? Did they, music? Did you hear music?
No.
Man, it's going to suck in 2700 is what you're saying.
Well, if that is the true future, then yes, it would suck. But I have a theory about that too, is that maybe the reason we see the future is because it's a potential, and as we see it, we start to change it from far back in the past. So it's almost like the butterfly effect. Like, if we can change something very small now, maybe that future will never happen.
Did they talk about visiting us? Could they time travel?
No, they never talked about that. The conversations I've had through telepathy have been very, I would say, one-worded. They're not very. They don't really explain things, and you kind of leave these experiences with way more questions than answers.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I can share these experiences, but I can only be truthful to like what I've shown. Okay, so I'm tweeting this pyramid here. Maybe someone could help me.
Oh, you haven't finished yet? I've been waiting.
Yeah, no, I just put it on
All right,
Twitter.
Jason. Okay. Let's see. Where's it at? Did you hashtag me? Where is it?
Oh, shoot. I'm not a good Twitter person.
Man, Jason.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, you need to come start hanging out. The thought about that, do you think when you were doing this that, I could have drawn that, Jason?
Well, like I said, it's like a cake. I don't know.
Hey, that's pretty good. How did you do this?
Photoshop.
That fast?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're badass. You're badass. Okay, I'm done with the joking. That was actually pretty good. All right. I thought you were going to draw it on a piece of paper and take a picture of it.
I just got a new cell phone yesterday, and I still don't know how to use it.
Okay. Yes. Cell phones are going to be huge. It's this new technology, Jason.
Yeah.
It's going to take off.
I'm learning, Jimmy.
I think one day everybody's going to have a cell phone that you know. Jason, were you in the future or in the past, do you think people saw you?
I think that if someone saw me, I would look like a shadow.
Right.
Because the beings that come to me, they look like shadows.
Right. So, did you ever see anybody, like, look at you but look through you? Like, they thought that they saw something?
Never.
Oh, that's interesting. So, would you know if you saw a time traveler today that was visiting?
Only if I would leave my body.
What would you see?
It would look like a shadow.
Right.
I mean, my experiences are, a lot of people, they call them shadow beings.
Right.
And that's what it really looks like. It just looks like a person, but you can't make out any features. It's just dark.
Oh, man, this is badass. What a thought.
And
right.
They come all the time. Usually it's not friendly contact. So usually they'll try to, pull you out of your body or freeze you and throw a net over you and try to take you somewhere.
And why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they think it's an easy meal. Unfortunately, they don't know who they're messing with.
Right.
But sorry for that.
No, it's a very interesting concept. You've heard the callers call into this show, right?
Yeah.
Describing those types of experiences. And what you are suggesting that there is a possibility that they are not seeing a ghost. They're not seeing a relative. They're not seeing shadow people, but they're actually seeing a time traveler.
They're seeing an aspect of someone's consciousness or a dimensional self traveling through time and space while somebody else is sleeping.
Are you okay with that?
am I okay with that? No, not really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's very important to put up your boundaries. First of all, I would say most people are completely unconscious of this happening. But when you become consciousness, you have to make a decision either to, allow to be yourself in fear of these things and let them continually attack you, which, by the way, I went through for like 6 years straight of just being attacked by these things. Just like waking up and they're on top of you in the bed, smothering you, and you can't breathe, or trying to pull you or push you out of your body, which does not feel good. It does not feel good. And I had to deal with that for many years until I've developed the strength where if something like that comes at night, I could leave my body and they'll be afraid of me instead of me being afraid of them.
Now, this is what I have to ask you here. Mm-hmm. You're not a bad guy, right? You're a good guy.
Yeah.
But if you are suggesting this now to the audience, what if they were seeing a shadow person good guy, time traveler good guy, but because of this advice, they're assuming that this is going to be a negative experience? What if somebody encountered you and treated you negatively?
Well, I wouldn't be trying to manipulate somebody in that state.
Right.
And like I said, the shadow, and we talked about this the first episode I did with you, the original shadow that awakened me, it took me out of my body.
Right.
I was always in fear of it. And then after many years of thinking about it, I realized that this shadow was actually initiating me into the dimensional worlds. So it was actually opening a doorway for me. So the fear that I was feeling was actually my own fear. But many people will go into the astral world and let's say they go travel somewhere. You take all your garbage with you in the astral world, by the way. So if you're carrying something inside of you that may not be the best thing, you're going to attract beings to you that like what you're carrying. So when you come back to your body at night, you might have an extra passenger with you that you don't want.
That's right.
So a lot of people fear the astral world and fear leaving their body. And that's because it is, I would consider it dangerous. There are things there that don't like you. I mean, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows over there. And that's why, when I teach people, it's all about you need to strengthen yourself. You need to learn how to set your boundaries so that, when these things come to you, you'll be prepared. And the most important thing is your mind. Your mind is so important on that side that you have to know that you're stronger than these beings. You can't think that you're stronger. You have to know that you're stronger so that if something comes and attacks you, if you know you're stronger than it, it can't hurt you.
We have to take a break right here. And Jason, you're going to stay with us. You don't have a choice. We've got too much conversation going on here, my friend. And I know you're tired. You just got off a plane. You just had the weekend of your life. You need to get some sleep. But you know what? All of that happens tomorrow. Okay? Tonight, you're with us, the Fade or Nots. This is Fade to Black. Our guest is Jason Quitt. We'll continue this conversation in just, 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
Levels of Power. Fact or fiction? Author Mike Gilmore brings political thrillers aligned with the latest news stories direct from our nation's capital. Immigration and border security. High tension in Southeast Asia. A Supreme Court nomination. Follow Senator Randy Fisher through the halls of power as he confronts the issues that affect our everyday lives. Fast-paced political thrillers. Levels of Power. Discover more at michaelgilmore1.com or amazon.com. Get hooked today.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Great conversation tonight with our friend Jason Quitt. And we're talking time travel right now. Jason, I want to stay right on this. I do want to mention I was listening to the Rivermoon Coffee commercial during the break. And this month, everybody, if you haven't become a member in our membership area, you might want to do it now, because this month we're giving away, courtesy of Rivermoon Coffee, a full coffee bar setup. You'll have a couple months supply of Fade to Black blend. You're going to get all of the hardware that you need to make a perfect cup of coffee every single day. It's one of the coolest drawings we're going to do, like in Eva. I'm such a coffee guy. And this weekend at Contact in the Desert, Rivermoon Coffee. Jason, did you partake in the Rivermoon Coffee this weekend?
You know, I really wish I did.
Oh, my. You know, it was the talk of Contact. Everybody coming up just going, I can't believe how good this coffee is, Church. You talk about it all the time. You don't hype it enough. And I don't know how I could express any more my love for this coffee. But for everybody to finally be, to go over and experience it and meet Juanita and Jeff and go through their nitro and the elixir and, they had it in the bottle, cold press. They had it hot. But it was just so funny to step up to their booth and see this line of people there waiting to experience it. It's just truly extraordinary.
Next time, I definitely will. I'm actually not a coffee drinker because of, like I said, it's hard to stay on my body.
Well, this could help with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, it is an elixir, my friend. Okay. Everybody go to the membership area if you haven't become a member and get in on this month's drawing for the River Moon coffee bar setup. Okay. Back to this shadow person discussion. This could answer a lot of questions for people. Is that okay to make this suggestion that this may be? It could relax a lot of people too as well.
I found a picture, which I'm going to post on Twitter.
Right.
And this picture absolutely blew my mind. And it's a picture from Egypt. I'm not entirely sure where in Egypt this is taken from, but it actually shows the shadow person with the Ba, the astral body, with a portal opening up, and they're going to travel at night together. Okay, did I set that up good?
Yeah, man.
Okay, here we go. Fade to black. Got you there. And then this. All right, I'm tweeting this picture. It's just a link, and when you click on that link, you're going to see.
Oh, wow. What temple is this in?
I have no idea. I was looking, studying the different bodies that the Egyptians said we have. And what they're saying is that every single person has 7 bodies. And one of the bodies is a shadow.
I've got it right here. I've got the whole thing. Okay. Jason, here, I'll teach you something. If you right-click on an image, okay, and then you say search Google, and then it will pop up, and then you click visit page, and it will take you right there. So this is called the shoot, the shadow. Yes. The shoot is represented graphically as a small human figure painted completely black, or as the figure of death, a servant of Anubis. It's unclear what the function of the human shoot was, but for gods, the shoot was a protective shadow cast over other people. Unlike the body, the shadow was not bound to the grave, and could go where the body could not. In the New Kingdom tombs, it was at times depicted as leaving it accompanied by the Ba, like you said. The shoot is also partook of the offerings left by priest for the deceased. Wow.
So they can keep this shadow alive, and they can call on it to take them places at night.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at a ton of different depictions. This isn't the only one. I've got another one here that is really trippy. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to just call this shadow. I'm going to post this up too as well. Yes. This is pretty cool. Thank you for this. This is what I'm talking about.
So when I saw this, it's like I couldn't believe what I was looking at, because I was doing this in my real life. This is kind of what it looks like when I travel. So when I saw this, I'm like, they're depicting the outer body experience with the astral body and the shadow.
Right.
So this is very old information.
Very interesting. Okay, where did I save that? Oh, man. I think I saved it here. Okay, all right, let's see here.
And they actually show you the portal, and that's exactly what the portal looks like. It's just this black hole that appears in your wall or in the middle of the room, and you go through it with this shadow.
Right. Yeah, I just posted this other image that it's the wow, that's crazy. It's kind of creepy too.
Oh yeah, the one you just posted, it has a portal in it too.
Now, yeah, it's right there. It's right there, and left foot forward. It's a left foot forward shadow. Wow, Jason, incredible. Well, what do you think about, I look at this and I also think of Slender Man, right? And, obviously that's a modern pop culture thing that is surfaced on the internet, but the imaging is very similar too.
Well, let me tell you a story. You read something where it says the priests would feed this.
Yes.
That's extremely important, okay? It's called spirit feeding. All right, so what they would do is they'd have rituals where they would offer these beings food to give them strength. Because if you would feed them, they would become your ally and you can call on them to do things for you. But if you neglected one of these beings and didn't feed them, they would get very hungry and they would ruin your lives.
Now, do you think, okay, let's go back to Thoth for a second, Thoth. And when you were there, do you think you looked like this or do you think you looked like you?
No, I looked like me. It was like, I did not look like a shadow when I was with Thoth. It's almost like I was there in person walking down the hallways.
Okay. Do you think that at other times you look like this?
I think I look like that when I'm the observer.
Interesting.
So I'm taken out of my body and I'm projected somewhere and I'm just an observer. Because when you're an observer, you can't really see your body.
How so? If you look down at your hand, what would you see?
When I look down at my hand, it looks like it just looked like an outline of a hand. It was dark, like a shadow, and I can see like light going through it.
So what? Okay, let's stay right here. If you left wearing jewelry, a watch, a bracelet, a ring, all three, and what are you wearing when you're shadow guy?
Nothing.
Interesting. And so the other part is, are you naked? Are you a naked shadow person?
I wouldn't even call it naked. I would just say that you're like an energy form.
Right. I'm not cracking jokes here. I'm being, please understand what I'm saying.
I'm definitely not wearing clothes.
You're not, see, that's what I just said. You're naked.
Yes.
But yet you don't realize your own body, so you're not concerned about things like that. Do you feel the wind? Do you feel cold? Warm?
No, not at all.
You don't feel anything, right?
No, I don't feel anything. The only thing that I would feel is the traveling through the portals. That I definitely feel.
How so? What do you feel?
It's more of a sound. I hear like this. It's like a white noise sound. It's very loud. It's like shh as you travel, and it feels like there's wind going across your ears. That's what it feels like.
Any pain?
No pain.
Dude, look at Faded Black long ago. Jimmy's shadow is behind him. What? This is Maureen St. Germain. Maureen, you're freaking me out right now.
Hey, maybe you're going to go on a journey tonight through portals, and then you'll have a show on it tomorrow.
Yeah. We hung out with Maureen's husband. Should I even say that publicly? Saw Maureen's husband at Contact in the Desert. Coolest dude on the planet Earth, right? He's cooler than you, Jason. That's how cool. He's cooler than John DeSouza. Dude is on ice. And I turned around, I said, "Oh, where's Maureen?" Right? He's like, "She's not here. She's doing." I was like, "Oh man." So Maureen, we missed you this weekend. I'm glad you're hanging out in the sandbox, but and your husband is a reasonable facsimile. Okay, we did it vicariously. We hung out with you, but we missed you this weekend, and can't wait to see you again. Maureen's the best. But when Maureen tweets out something like this coming from Maureen, there's something going on. So, Maureen, what are you saying? She literally said, "Dude, look at Fade to Black long ago. Jimmy's shadow is behind him." What does that mean?
Picture of that.
What does that mean? Maureen tripping me out. I'm going to trip out tonight. Jason, I want to also for the audience who may or may not fully understand or grasp this concept of your time travel experience, you were summoned each time, right? This was not in your control. You were removed. You were taken out into the atmosphere, right, outside, and positioned somewhere on Earth. You saw where you were going, where you were coming from, but none of this was in your control.
No, it was very forceful at first. Basically, and remember you asked me on Friday night on Fade to Black, you asked me, Jay, come on, it's just a dream, right? And I said, I wish it was a dream. Because in these experiences, I'll be sleeping and dreaming, and then something will reach in your body and rip you out forcefully. So it ends your dream, and you're like, okay, now I'm out of my body and something's holding on to me. And then you get shot up into outer space, and I could see the planet, and they would direct me to a point on the planet. It was mostly in the United States, and they would shoot me down to the place in the United States, and that's my first experiences with this type of time travel. So there's no control. I can't say no. It's just, okay, let's freak Jason out tonight. Let's do this to him.
Were the guides the same? Did you have the same guide each time?
For the ones that took me into the space and then back down to the Earth, they looked the same. It looked like a humanoid figure, probably about 5 feet tall, and it had that predator effect where it's like you can make out their outline, but you can't see them. They almost look like invisible.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to correct everybody. I misread what Maureen said. She didn't say long ago. She said long logo. I thought I saw long ago, which the long logo. Okay, somebody post Maureen, or somebody post the long logo. I want to see what this is. That's again still interesting. Were you? Did they ever identify? In other words, were you on a first name basis? Did you know, and did you become comfortable with your guide?
No, they never told me anything. I couldn't communicate with these beings at all.
Did you know what part of the timeline they were coming from?
No, and I didn't know what timeline I was going to. For me, I thought that it was the future because it just looked like the planet was destroyed. And obviously that hasn't happened yet. And then sometimes when I would go on it, I would have this strange thought that would come into my mind saying that this is happening right now. Maybe a parallel timeline to our Earth.
Or something that could happen in 6 months.
Right. But by the way, this happened to me in 2003 time period. So this was a long time ago that those first experiences happened to me.
I wanted to ask you about that from that first conversation we had, because your vision, what you were shown, freaked me out, freaked out the audience too. Well, freaked you out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The look of everybody that you were interfacing back then, do you feel like here you are 15 years later? Is this the kind of timeline we are in? Because you had mentioned the look and vehicle and some other things that you had seen. Does it feel like it's now, the 2017, 2020 time period, or maybe it was reaching out a bit further?
No, it looked recent. Like it looked like it could be a very close future, and that's why it was so bothersome to me. Because there was military tanks, police, or it looked like SWAT police, really, or military police. They were wearing mostly black. High-tech machine guns. Definitely saw those.
Well, and you also mentioned, and we're almost at the end of the show, so I'm going to cut you off a little bit so we can get some more information in. You also mentioned that they prisons with children in them, right? Yes. Were the guards that were guarding this, did they feel like they were American or were they foreign?
They looked American. They really did.
Which would indicate us, our military, our police, imprisoning children. Now, were they imprisoning them because they were protecting them, or was there something else going on?
From what it looked like, it was probably just a roundup. I mean, the environment was like, it looked like the environment was destroyed. It looked like the sky was on fire. So to me, it was almost like these were the survivors or the children that survived, whatever this was. And, but they didn't really survive too much longer.
These were children without parents.
Yes.
And was there a feeling that all of the adults were killed? Not only the parents, but maybe just adults in general.
The only adults that I witnessed were like the police or military.
Right. Wow. Frightening and interesting at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yes. Were the children happy?
No, they weren't happy. But the strange thing is they weren't in any prison clothes. They were wearing just normal everyday clothes.
But they were definitely behind fences. They were prisoners.
Oh yeah, it was a very high cement wall. It was an open air facility, so you can see the sky. But it was like a wall that enclosed everybody. It was pretty big.
Now, when you see something like that, do you think there's a way to prevent it? If it is, if this is our future, because this is very similar, I can't even believe I'm going to mention this name, but I kind of have to, which is John Teeter, the real John Teeter's description of, a war between China, Russia, and the United States. And of course, United States gets bombed. And we go backwards a little bit. We don't need to get into that story, but certainly this would fit John Teeter's description of our very near future, wouldn't it?
I guess it would, but I think he was saying, the time period would be, I think it was, he said 2004.
Well, yeah. My only question with that has always been the altering of the timeline, the prevention of certain things, and things are altered as we move along just slightly, a percent here, a percent there, and that maybe that timeline and the actual events were just put off a little bit, and there's a possibility that we would still see this in our future. And especially when you think about what's going down right now with Russia, China, and the United States, right? It's just like, wow. It could be happening just off by a few years. I would have bet my bottom dollar when I had first read the John Teeter stuff back in 2000 that this was never going to happen, ever. And here today, the ungluing of the relationships that we have between these three superpowers is pretty frightening.
We can actually see the world right now going in that direction. And
right.
It's very, very scary because, the future could be a push button war. There doesn't have to be troops on the ground. They can just push a button.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have, I said this a couple of weeks ago. Well, I've said it a couple of years ago too, which is, it's one thing to think about nuclear, right? To think about that kind of stuff. But going into the dark ages is really simple if you cut off the electricity and cut off the internet. You do that and we will be hunter-gatherers in 2 weeks. I mean, it would be a really, really bad place to be.
A very bad place.
Jason, I want to thank you so much, my friend. I'm glad that you got back to Canada safely, of course. And what a great weekend you had. And there's a very bright future out there for you, young man. And I was just very, very happy to just kick back and watch it all unfold this weekend for you. And I'm sure you just had a great time. But now go and get your rest. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jimmy and Rita.
You got it. Jason Quitt, everybody. Thank you so much, Jason. Good night, my brother.
Good night.
Jason Quitt. Now, Jason's, I just want to recap because I literally have 2 minutes. I just want to say this. Jason's way of speaking, I have literally done 1,000 interviews and guests and things. And you've heard most of them, if not all of them, some of you. And to hear Jason's description is one thing, but I'm going to say this right now, and I hope he's listening. It's the way, the delivery, the voice, the frame of mind, the honesty. There's a tad bit of innocence in there, but there's also an assertiveness that is there too as well. And I have to say, I'm living the experience with him, just like you are. And I think he's got an important message for us all. Not only that, but we've all got posture exercises to do. Remember, everybody, left foot forward, okay? Left foot forward, fist, right, lightly clenched, and then alternate. And he said 3 breaths. That's good. And then the other one, left foot forward, don't cheat, and then put your hands over your heart. And then one set is fist, and the other one is open palms. So just do that. And then tomorrow night is Fader night. I want to hear from everybody after you've done a day of these exercises, because you saw me do it in the studio. The left foot forward, who would have thought, is exhausting. And I was tripping. You saw me do it right here in the studio, live on the camera. And I got to tell you, that's trippy to go through that experience. I don't think I ever would have. And I want to thank Jason for all of that. This has been Fade to Black. Now, tomorrow night, right here, live, it is Fader night. Open lines all night long. 2 numbers to call in, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. We haven't had John Rappaport in here for 2 weeks because of obvious things. We took 2 nights off right in a row. John Rappaport is back with us tomorrow night. It is Fader night. Do not miss that show, followed by open lines all night long. And I want to make sure, kiddies, that you go out and do your exercises. All right? The Egyptian posture. That's what I'm talking about. The postures of power. This has been another episode of Fade to Black. Thank you to Jason Quitt. Follow Jason at Jason_Quitt with 2 T's. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Tomorrow night, John Rappaport, Fader night, open lines. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission for Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.